What if I told you that you were born to lose the game of trading? And actually, it's not your fault. You see, from the moment you placed your first trade, the odds were stacked against you and you had no chance. It wasn't because some big institution was out to get you. It's simply because your brain has been working against you from day one. Not following your plan is normal. In fact, it's human. But here's the truth. Normal humans don't win the game of trading. Your mind wasn't built for trading. It was built to survive. Every hesitation, every impulse, every time you break your rules mid-trade, that's not weakness. It's your biology doing exactly what it's designed to do. And unless you rewrite that system, you'll keep sabotaging yourself, no matter how good your strategy is. Well, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down the two invisible forces that are quietly destroying your trading results. And I'm going to be showing you how to break free from what I call the survival paradigm. This outdated mental operating system that's been holding you back since day one. Because if you don't, you will never be profitable. You might think the problem is your strategy, or that you're just not working hard enough. Maybe you don't know what you're doing yet, but the truth is, it runs deeper than that. Your brain wasn't built for trading. It was built for survival. Millions of years of evolution has trained your nervous system to avoid pain and seek safety while reacting to uncertainty. But when it comes to trading, it demands the exact opposite. It requires sitting in risk, acting under pressure, and making decisions when nothing is certain. And that's what we call the survival paradigm. It's the real reason behind every blown account, every revenge trade, every time you gave back all your profits after a strong week. That was the survival paradigm at play. It's like asking a caveman to build a website. He's not actually stupid. He's just not evolved for that world. And right now, you're trying to operate in the markets using a mind that was built for a completely different environment, and you still haven't changed it. So if you feel like you keep doing the wrong thing, even when you know better, this video is for you. Let's start from the top. Every trader understands that fear and greed sabotage their trading. Yet most traders avoid it because, well, they just don't know what to do with that information. If trading was solely about strategy, this game would be too easy. But the real reason you're not profitable is because you don't follow your plan consistently. And to be quite frank, that's not actually a discipline issue, it's a brain issue. You see, your brain is designed for safety. It's been molded to survive. When you're in a trade, whether you're entering or exiting a position, there's a moment where your emotions hijack the calm and rational plan that you made. That's when everything breaks down. It goes along the lines of this. You enter a trade, price dips into drawdown. Now, while you know that's normal, you've even seen it 100 times in backtesting, you panic. You close early, and then the trade hits your original target without you. And you're left sitting there angry and frustrated, asking yourself, why did I even do that? Or how about this? Maybe the trade is going your way and you're in profit, but then price starts pulling back, and so does your confidence. Even though your stop loss hasn't been hit, you close the trade early just to protect what's left. And once again, it reverses and runs to your target without you. You're not stupid. You're not undisciplined. You've just been hijacked, because in those moments, your plan wasn't in charge. Your amygdala was. That's your emotional brain, and what some call the chimp. It's been meticulously wired to avoid pain, chase pleasure, and keep you safe at all costs. It doesn't care about your edge, and it definitely doesn't care about probabilities. It just wants out. So when you're trading from that emotional state, every decision becomes distorted. You may hesitate when you should act, exit when you should hold. You may even seek safety in a game that punishes you. You've probably heard of FOMO, but what most traders don't realize is that it's actually greed in disguise, and it's triggered by the same wiring we're talking about. You get your signal, you wait, like your plan says, but then price starts moving without you. And so now you're annoyed, frustrated, and you want in. So you chase, you enter late, and right after that, price reverses, tags your stop loss, and wipes you out. And again, you're left asking, why did I do that? The answer is actually simple. You weren't trading the market, you were trading your instincts. This is the survival paradigm, and it's the reason most traders fail, And not because they don't know what to do, but because they can't get themselves to do it. Until you rewire the system, it's like putting a toddler into the pilot seat of a fighter jet. They'll be panicking, reaching for every control, no idea what any of it does. And that's your emotional brain. Reactive, impulsive, in charge of a machine it was never trained to operate. But let's get back into the important things. If a survival paradigm is the system sabotaging your trades, then the fear and greed are the tools that it uses to keep you stuck. Most traders think they understand these emotions as they've heard all the advice. Don't be greedy, fear kills trades, stick to the plan. But when you're actually in a trade, it doesn't feel like fear. It doesn't feel like greed. It feels like pressure, like tension rising in your chest. And where that sense of urgency becomes noise in your head that says act now or miss it. So let's start with fear. You've got a clean setup, one you've backtested 100 times. You've walked through the entry. You know the rules and you're ready to take the trade. But as price comes into your zone, you freeze. Suddenly, you're second guessing everything. Maybe I should wait. Let's see what the next candle does. And before you know it, the trade's gone. Played out exactly as planned, but without you. Now you tell yourself it was caution. But it wasn't because you weren't being safe. You were playing scared. And the reality is, this is not your fault. Your brain sees uncertainty as a threat. And when that happens, the emotional brain steps in. So in reality, you're not trading the chart, you're actually trading your instincts again. Greed shows up in the same way, but it's masked differently. When you see the market moving and you have your setup, the whole time you're following your plan, but then it starts running without you. Instead of letting go and waiting for the next one, you start to chase it. You jump in late and you get stopped out. That's not just FOMO. That's your brain chasing a reward it thinks it's missed. It's not logical, it's biological. Fear and greed aren't flaws. They're just the pre-installed software that your brain runs on. And in trading, they show up in the worst possible moments. When it's time to enter, when it's time to hold, and when it's time to walk away. And so unless you build systems to override that default setting, you'll keep confusing emotional reactions for trading decisions. Because it's not enough to just control your emotions. You have to expect them, prepare for them, and build around them. And that's what separates the traders who loop from the traders who last. So let's zoom out for a second. Because some traders do break out of this loop. But what's different about them? They're not smarter. They're not more talented. They've just built a system where the emotional brain isn't the one making decisions. They've accepted that willpower is not enough. And motivation, it doesn't survive real pressure. So instead, they show up the same way every day, regardless of how they feel. And they're able to follow a clear, repeatable process that removes guesswork. They use rules and automation to protect themselves from themselves. And they're able to operate with emotional distance because they understand the game. You see, where most traders are reactive, they're methodical. Where most traders chase highs, they manage outcomes. Where most traders spiral after losses, they stay focused on the long game. You might be thinking, well, how do I get there? And that's exactly the point. This level of discipline doesn't happen by accident. If your goal is to become one of these traders, a consistently profitable trader, then the key is emotional management. Now, you may be sitting there not understanding how to actually achieve this level. I mean, this all sounds great, but how do I do it? If that sounds like you, and you're looking for a proven, methodical system that will take you from where you are right now to consistently profitable, not just technically, but also mentally, then you could benefit by booking a call with one of my team members to understand whether or not we could actually help you cross that barrier from unprofitable to becoming profitable. Because the reality is, where most traders are reactive, profitable traders are methodical. Where most chase highs, we manage outcomes. Where most spiral after losses, we stay focused on the long game. Now, you may be thinking, how do I get there? And that's exactly the point. This level of discipline doesn't happen by accident. It's not about trading harder. It's about trading differently. They're not using a new strategy. They're using a new operating system. They've rewired their mind, installed frameworks that neutralize fear and greed before it can take over. And no, they're not emotionless. They still feel. They just don't let their emotions decide for them. Because here's the truth. You don't become consistent by trading better. You become consistent by acting differently under pressure and then building systems that enforce that behavior. We're not going into the specifics of that here. That's something we dive into inside of our prosperity school. But what I want you to take from this is simple. If you want to trade like a professional, you need to stop behaving like an emotional amateur. And that shift, it doesn't come from learning more setups. It comes from becoming someone else entirely, someone no longer ruled by the survival paradigm.